Hi, my name's Rick Moore and I'm very honoured and privileged to be the Brexit Party candidate for Blackburn. I've lived in Blackburn most of my life. I went to school in Blackburn, I'm raising a family in Blackburn. Blackburn's a place that really matters to me, and I want to make Blackburn a place that we can all live, work and grow together. I care about the town. I see that it's declined an awful lot. We've got crime rates well over 200% of the national average. On just about any statistic you care to find, we're worse than the national average. And I want to do something about the race to the bottom that Blackburn's got locked into. Well, firstly, we stand for a clean break Brexit, where we leave the political institutions of the European Union. But also, and perhaps more importantly, we stand for real political reform. If you look at 2015 in the general election, UKIP got over 4 million votes and only one seat in the House of Commons. The SNP, on the other hand, got under 1 million votes and 54 seats. It means that one person's vote is not worth the same as the next person's vote, and I don't think a real democratic system should be like that. Everyone's vote should count the same. We also want to reform the House of Lords and replace it with a smaller elected house. It's full of unelected people that are appointed and they have a massive influence over our laws, but we don't have an opportunity to remove them if they're not representing us in the way we would like. Well, I'm the only local Brexiteer on the ballot paper. In 2016, 54% of the people that voted in the referendum voted to leave, and their voice just isn't being listened to. So for people that want to leave the EU, want to be represented by someone local, I think I'm the best choice. The first being money. It's the second highest net contributor to the EU budget, to the tune of just over £1 billion a month. If we leave, that leaves a big black hole in their finances that they have to find from elsewhere. But I think the thing that they're truly afraid of is that when we leave and grasp the opportunities that are going to be available to us and make a success of Brexit, that others will see how much better off we can be outside the EU and will want to follow suit and leave as well. I think it comes down to democracy. There was a referendum and we decided. And the thing about democracy is it requires losers' consent. And if we're going to throw that out the window and decide that we can just ignore the majority of voters, then where does that stop? So I think people that voted Remain and are actively working to undermine that referendum should carefully think about what will happen when it's something that they vote for that gets undermined. Well, I think if we leave with the Brino deal that the Conservatives are talking about, or with some kind of single market customs union deal that the Labour Party are talking about, the danger is that we remain trapped in the EU institutions without a voice and without a vote and without a veto. We'll have no choice but to accept whatever the EU want to impose on us. That are in the withdrawal agreement, for example, the £500 billion liability to the European Investment Bank that we would be saddled with if the Eurozone goes into financial crisis. And with Germany on the verge of a recession, that's a distinct possibility that we could end up paying for. Well, we want to start a tree planting programme that will see millions of trees planted that will absorb CO2. We're not going to the ridiculous lengths of the Labour Party, who would have to plant 180 trees a minute between now and 2040 to actually make their target happen. It's just completely unachievable. We want to be more realistic about it and plant millions of trees, but also we share the air with the rest of the world. So we want to open up new climate initiatives with the UN and push for those so that we can work with our international partners in cleaning up the environment. We would also make it illegal to send waste abroad to be burnt, buried or disposed or dumped at sea. we need to take responsibility for the waste that we produce and deal with that waste in an environmentally friendly way. Certainly not in Blackburn. The party recognised that there could be a danger of that, which was why we withdrew 317 candidates. If we were talking about the Ribble Valley with a staunch Brexiteer like Nigel Evans, then yes, that argument could hold weight. But in Blackburn, remember, we haven't had a Conservative MP since 1945. Talking to many traditional Labour voters, both before and during the election campaign, and they're quite clear that they feel that the Labour Party has betrayed them and turned its back on them. They're no longer the party of the working class. But those voters also can't bring themselves to vote Conservative. Likewise, there's Conservative voters that have lost faith in their party, given the 3.5 years where the Conservative Party have promised to get Brexit done and failed, who are now looking for somewhere else to vote for, and they wouldn't go to the Labour Party. So I do not accept that in Blackburn the Brexit Party is splitting the Leave vote. I fully believe that it's the Conservative Party that are splitting the Leave vote. We firmly believe that the NHS should remain free at the point of use. Let's remember, it was the Tory party under John Major that introduced private finance initiatives, and those were massively exploited by Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, effectively privatising the NHS through the back door. There's a good proportion of those contracts that just aren't delivering, and we would return those to public ownership, and we certainly wouldn't be wanting to sign any more. The NHS needs to stay as public ownership, and I really hate the way that the NHS gets kicked around like a political football, especially at election time. It shouldn't be any one party deciding the future of the NHS. We believe that we need to open up a national debate, completely cross-party, involving the public, doctors, experts, and decide the future of the NHS that way, and discuss ring-fencing the NHS budget and the taxes that pay for it. We will abolish interest on student loans, and the 6% rate is totally unfair and saddles students with a lot of debt after they leave education. We would also take away the historical interest as well. That has already been written off in the public finances, so it wouldn't actually cost us anything to do that. So it means that students can go to university and leave without being saddled with a debt that's just too hard for them to pay off as they start their working life.